The problem I find with Star Wars and with Dave Filoni and with the Disney Star Wars is that they are.
What's going on, guys? I'm SimpleSimon, I'm your comic book noob. Welcome to the Noob Rebirth. We've been teasing it for the last couple of episodes. If you've been keeping up, today is the day we're going to talk about Ahsoka. And as you may or may not know, Mark was very fired up in the last couple of episodes. So we're going to bring him in. Say hi, Mark. Hi, Mark. We both got Star Wars t-shirts on too.
Because we're talking about Star Wars, idiot.
Hashtag prepared guys.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Before we start, I just want to tell a little bit of a story. For the last 2 months straight, I've been enjoying Ahsoka, and for the last 2 months straight, I've been coming in here every week, and Mark has been trashing the show to me. And then last week I said to him, all right, next week we'll talk about Ahsoka. And he said, oh, I better binge watch it all then. I was like, what do you mean? Haven't you watched it? He goes, oh no, I've just been watching highlights on YouTube. You're watching highlights on YouTube and you've been trashing the show every week. How dare you? So have you actually watched the show properly, Mark?
Yes.
Properly?
Sort of.
I knew you wasn't prepared.
No, I skimmed through it because to be honest, I found it hard getting through it. So look, I've got to say, it's visually beautiful. I have to say, you can see where they spent their money. You know, over 200 million they spent on that show, right? So you can see where that went. The thing is, if you didn't really watch, Clone Wars or Rebels,
I'll say more so Rebels.
They don't really give you
any context.
Any context whatsoever.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Completely. So they try to introduce them as completely new characters. Yeah. I had trouble with the script. It was awful. There was no character development whatsoever at all. I found that the directing, I'm not saying anything bad about Rosario Dawson because she's a great actress. I just found her she was directed poorly. And Ray Stevenson was probably the highlight of that show, and you just didn't see enough of him. All we got out of him were quotes.
So I enjoyed it. I just, being, I guess, a Star Wars noob guy, I just enjoy everything coming from the universe. I mean, look, not everything. Like, I didn't love Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan to me was a bit boring. But I think because I was kind of pretty fresh from watching Rebels, I did enjoy it. And I just enjoyed seeing those characters on screen. I loved Baylan and Shin. I thought that was super cool. Thrawn was okay. I don't know a lot about Thrawn through comic books or the books or whatever it be. All I know is Rebels, where he's pretty animated. But people tell me from the comic books he's a very menacing character, right?
And he's supposed to be a super strategist. That's why to add context, a little bit of context to Thrawn. Sorry, just to add to what you were saying.
Yeah.
If you look at the Empire, I'm talking Lucas Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
In Lucas Star Wars, the Emperor and the Empire was very xenophobic. So that's why you never see a lot of aliens in his hierarchy. But Thrawn was an exception because he was a master strategist. He studied strategy and military, and so that's why he rised into the ranks. So that's to add some context as to who Thrawn was, his menace, and his people feared him.
Look, here's the thing with the actors versus the characters they're portraying. Rebels, you've only really seen them in animation, and in animation, the characters are very animated. So a lot of people, I think, were dissing Rosario Dawson, saying that she's very bland as Ahsoka, which I kind of agree.
For me, it just didn't work. From anime, I've seen all of Rebels, and I've seen all of Clone Wars, and obviously this is more about Rebels, right? So I've seen all of Rebels, and it just didn't work for me. From animated to real life, it just didn't work. I mean, first of all, the crossing of the arms. There is a character trait of Ahsoka.
She did that a lot though.
I know, but in animated, it wasn't as noticeable, and she was younger, right? Whereas in a real life adaptation of Ahsoka, It was very noticeable, like all the time. And
But that should be. I mean, that again.
Too much.
Yeah, but you just said it was
I'm
a
just saying
character trait.
I know, but it was very noticeable for some reason. In the animated, it wasn't that noticeable, and for some reason, in the real life, it was just real noticeable.
I think that's a weird thing to complain about.
I'm not complaining about it.
Complaining guy.
I'm not complaining. I'm saying that's what it was. That's what my opinion based. There's no accountability in that show. There's no. You can live through a lightsaber stabbing. That's another one. So there's no foreboding.
I'll agree with that. Like the cliffhanger at the end of episode 1 is she got stabbed with a lightsaber, which is stupid because straight away you knew she survived it. I mean, it was a pretty full-on stabbing.
Yeah, that's right. And so throughout the whole 8 episodes, there was no foreboding. Like, are they going to do it? Aren't they going to do it? You know, what's going to happen? Is their ship going to blow up? Because there's no consequences to actions. Sabine, she goes to another galaxy to find Ezra. She betrays her own galaxy by giving Thrawn the map ball to find Ezra. And then when she finds Ezra, what do you think she says when she first sees Ezra? Hey, how you going? You know what I mean? Like, and there's no consequences for that. There's no consequences for her betraying her own galaxy.
I don't think she was proud of herself, which is why she didn't really discuss much with Ezra.
So that conversation her and Ezra had. Oh, so where's Ahsoka? Where is she? It's complicated. So how are you? It's complicated. What have you been up to? It's complicated. No character development, nothing.
What's your relationship status?
Yeah.
It's complicated. This is what I found from Star Wars fans. I'm talking about hardcore Star Wars fans. Some people loved it. A lot of people hated it. And then you've got a lot of people who obviously take something from each side.
The Star Wars Lucas people, who like fans,
they hate
like myself, we hated it. Whereas the new fans of the Disney Star Wars loved it, which is this guy. So, and that's fine.
What did you enjoy about it? 'Cause I'll tell you the first thing. So one of my favorite episodes, I probably had 2 episodes in a row which I really enjoyed, which was the introduction to Thrawn. That episode was, I thought, really good. It was just, for me anyway, seeing Thrawn in live action for the first time, his stormtroopers, Enoch, it was a very different type of what?
I don't know.
It was just very different for me. I was like, the stormtroopers look badass with all the battle damage and all that. I thought that was very cool.
You love the zombies?
Well, okay. So you can say that, and to me, zombie stormtroopers is a weird idea because I've never seen it, but it's happened in Star Wars. It's not a new thing to Star Wars. Because the Night Sisters resurrect people from the dead.
That's another thing I wanted to tell you about the Night Sisters.
Okay, but let's focus on things that you enjoyed first.
I didn't enjoy any. Ray Stevenson, there you go.
Okay, so Ray Stevenson
I loved Ray Stevenson.
Was the best thing about the show, for sure, right?
He was so good.
And the thing that really let me down, so when it comes to the final episode, I didn't love it. All right, I really enjoyed the show, and the ending really left me, I guess, wanting more, but I wasn't satisfied at the end of the season, because the thing that had me most interested and intrigued was the story of Balin, and they kept teasing it, just giving you a little bit every time, and in the final episode, he wasn't even in it until the last 5 seconds, which those 5 seconds for people who know Star Wars lore and stuff obviously was a big deal, but come on, man, give us more than that.
If you look at the Disney Star Wars shows, all they're doing is referencing themselves. They're referencing Star Wars. They haven't got nothing new. They can't produce anything new. They can't come up with any originality.
The only thing during the last 2 months when this guy was just fucking in my ear every week was you did like that episode with Anakin and the Clone Wars sort of throwback.
Again, they referenced themselves.
Yeah, I know, but
they didn't need that. But
I'm trying to get you to talk about something good about the show. Yeah. I know there was. You cannot say that the entire season was trash.
It's trash.
There were good moments in the show. I didn't hear any bad things about that Clone Wars Anakin thing.
I tell you what, a good thing is that the young Ahsoka, she was awesome. She was better than the adult Ahsoka. But one thing I hated about those episodes is the showing the repercussions of war. You know, like how she's crying and, you know, why do we have to have a war? It's fucking war, man!
Yeah, but isn't that what sort of made her come to the realization and start questioning things?
It was poorly written and the script was bad. Like, how many pauses? I reckon it was like a drinking game. the amount of pauses between conversations. Like the Night Sisters, for instance. Not once did they ever give you any history of the Night Sisters, that they're force wielders. No, they called it magic. How the hell can you call it magic?
But it is, no. That is the Night Sisters. They don't call it the Force. Like they obviously have.
Yes, but they're force wielders.
They do tap into the Force, I guess, but they kind of refer to it as magic. It's not magic. They refer to it as magic. That's what they refer to it as.
It's not magic, and that's the thing. The problem with, I find, with Star Wars and with Dave Filoni and with the Disney Star Wars is that they're not writing stories within the world that Lucas created, right? They are creating their own rules as they go along. And that's not how you continue building a world.
Okay, so here's the thing, right?
Right, how you changing the rules.
Yeah, changing the rules, fair enough. But
it's silly.
For me, and because obviously I know a lot of people who love Star Wars, and you've got your old school guys like you who just can't accept anything new. But then you've got the people who are craving...
Don't take that back, because I do accept something new.
Like,
I find that very offensive.
People are craving something new, and they have to go in a new direction in some sense, because if you keep doing the same thing, it's going to get stale.
I understand that, of course, but you don't have to change the rules to create something
Changing
new.
The rules is wrong.
Right?
Like getting stabbed by a lightsaber meaning nothing is wrong.
And that anyone can be force sensitive. So from the beginning of the show, Sabine had no force powers. Then by the end of it, she was ready to go with the force. She was all practiced with the force.
I do love the moment where she finally got to go with I thought that was cool. It stabbed the guy in the face, in the head. That was great. I know you complained a little about the choreography, right? There was some fight scenes that weren't bad. There was one that was really bad. The scene where they're fighting off the night troopers, and there's three of them like blocking. It looked like a Power Rangers episode. It was really bad.
It was bad.
But then there was but she followed up with the second fight with Balin, and I thought that was pretty good.
And so another thing that I had a problem with, Thrawn was there for 10 years and looking for Ezra for 10 years. Couldn't find him. Sabine comes along. She finds him like this.
Hey, they didn't explain it, but maybe she found him through the Force.
Oh, yeah, right. Thrawn's there for 10 years. Ahsoka comes down. She wants to find... She lets Sabine go so she can find Ahsoka and Ezra. And then the witches come out. They put out these balls, and they come out with the triangle, and bang, they find Ezra. Why couldn't they do that 10 years ago? Exactly. Master strategist, my ass.
Balin's probably the most interesting thing about the show to me. What did you think of that big reveal at the end with him? Because obviously I've watched a lot of videos, because I didn't get it. I didn't get it. But I watched
him looking out onto Mount Doom, the stone from Lord of the Rings. How did he get the Mordor?
I feel like that's the one thing that Star Wars fans have loved, and the idea of where that storyline could go. The Mortar Scods, is that what they're called?
I have no idea.
This guy, Star Wars guy.
I'm a Star Wars guy, not a Disney Star Wars guy.
So, no, this is all linked back to Clone Wars, man. So, the statue he was standing on represents, there was the father, the son, and the daughter, is it? Again, this is all Clone Wars stuff which I haven't seen, but I've watched a lot of YouTube videos.
Oh, that's how you know.
Exactly. So, the statue he was standing on was the father, who represents balance in the Force, and then there's the son who represents the dark, and then the daughter represents the light. Now the daughter's...
Oh, of course the son. Of course represents the dark.
This is all Clone Wars stuff. So the daughter's head was missing on the statues. So the daughter was gone. It was just the father and the son, and obviously the father was pointing. And if you actually when Balin looks up from the distance, there's some mountain with a little glow on it, which is obviously where he's going. What's Mount Doom?
Lord of the Rings.
I'm not a Lord of the Rings guy. There's two speculation things. One of them is like they think it's meant to be the pool of something.
Again, they didn't tell us nothing. And
yeah, no, but this is.
Ahsoka could have easily fixed shit if they had a proper scroll. The first episode, they had this shitty looking scroll, which looked like someone did it in Microsoft Word. They should have had a proper scroll to tell people where it came from, who they were, you know, what happened.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is there was a lot of deep Star Wars cuts in there for people who really know everything in the lore.
Referencing stuff.
But they don't. What do you mean? What do you want them to do? What do you want them to do, Mark? You keep complaining about it, but there were those really deep cuts that Star Wars fans who know the lore really well loved. The references they made for real Star Wars fans, and this is not me. I mean, I had to look up this stuff because I didn't get it, but people were loving that stuff, man. And I think it's a good, I mean, where else are you going to go to make people love this? People are complaining that it's a different direction and they don't like it, but they're giving you these references that people want, that Star Wars fans want. You're saying that you don't like the new direction Disney's going in, but they're making references to everything, which is what you want, isn't it?
No.
Isn't that what you want? They're trying to fill in the gaps between the original trilogy and the sequel
Of course
trilogy.
they are. They're trying to fix, and that's why I referenced the Disney trilogy. And I knew that this is what's happening. They want to fix those. They want to, because you can't take them out of. You can't reboot it. You can't take. They've already done. You can't put it in the box. That's what I mean. You can't put it back in the box now. They have to try and fix it. Just like what they tried to fix the prequel trilogy. They fixed it with Clone Wars. And that series, the Clone Wars cartoon series, fixed the prequels.
So why can't they do that now with the sequel trilogies?
Well, of course they can. That's up to them, but doesn't mean we have to watch it.
Hey, watch this. What do you give it out of 10, Mark? I'll give it an 8.
No. I'm going to give it a 3.
A 3
Yeah,
out
that's
of
because
10.
I like the look of it. That's
A
it.
3 out of 10.
And for Balin.
I really enjoyed it. I
honest.
just enjoyed the ride every week. I really didn't like the end. Like, I just think it felt
the
flat
ending-
in the final episode.
It was the worst episode.
And the
to
thing
say.
that I enjoyed most about the show, literally they gave us nothing in the end, which really disappointed me. I really want to know what was going on with Balin and because I thought it was really bizarre that Balin just cut Shin off in that episode, and he's like, see you later, and I'm like, whoa, that's weird. What's going to happen with Shin now? Yeah,
I mean, there was plenty of stupid things in the show. Zombies, stormtroopers.
Again,
stupid
he's
things.
complaining about things that are all part of Star Wars and
Stupid.
have always been
Yeah,
part of
and
Star
it
Wars.
was-
And again, I learnt all this
They
stuff,
have
but
always been part of
it
Star
has. The Night Sisters revive the dead. That's what they do.
And guess who wrote that? Dave Filoni!
Yeah, so exactly.
Hey!
He would
'Cause
know.
Yeah, so there you go.
Filoni knows.
Filoni doesn't know.
Alright guys, that is all for today's episode. I just want to let you guys know and let us know what you thought in the comments. What did you think about Ahsoka? Did you like it? Did you hate it as much as Mark? Also, Mark said today that he wasn't going to go off tap. He was just going to give you a measured approach. Let us know in the comments, was Mark measured or was he angry? Was he angry at the show or did he give you a measured review? It started off measured.
Bye, Mark.
Keep it simple. Oh, sorry, before I go, I give it an 8 out of 10. Eating in these things is the new thing.
Was it really?
Yeah, you made it a thing.
I made it a thing, really? How did I make it a thing?
You just started eating during the videos. So now we're doing it. It's a thing. What about Luke Skywalker? Spoiler
Oh,
alert.
yeah. He didn't die. He just disappeared.
That's right, forced.
He just forced to speak. Poof.
His job here was done.
Poof.
They want to tie it back into everything else. Have I broken something here? Oh shit. I went to put your statue back near the camera.
Oh, man, don't break my statues. Here's your lightsaber. No, I used the Force is my ally. And then couple of seconds
Yeah,
later, he's using a gun.
He hadn't wielded a lightsaber for 10 years. It would have been a bit rusty, you know?
Nah.